If you're a tech founder or e-commerce entrepreneur deciding where to set up your company in Asia, Hong Kong and Singapore are two of the strongest options. But which one is actually better for your business in 2026? Here's the practical answer. For many non-resident tech founders, Hong Kong is often the more practical first company, especially if you sell globally, have exposure to China or the Greater Bay Area, or want simpler remote control without relocating immediately. Singapore tends to be the stronger choice when your team and first serious market are centered in Southeast Asia, or when you need strong regional headquarters positioning. In this video, I'll break down the key differences that actually matter to tech founders and e-commerce businesses, including setup, tax, banking, compliance, and market access, so you can make a clearer decision. Company formation, speed, and cost. Let's start with the basics, speed and cost of setting up. Hong Kong allows you to register a private limited company in 1 to 3 working days. Government fees are low, and professional service packages typically range from 5,000 Hong Kong dollars to 12,000 Hong Kong dollars. Singapore is also very fast, often 1 to 2 working days. Professional service fees are generally competitive, ranging from around 800 Singapore dollars to 2,500 Singapore dollars. For pure speed and simplicity, Singapore currently has a slight edge. However, Hong Kong remains very competitive and is often more straightforward for non-resident founders who want to keep control remotely. Tax environment. Tax is often one of the biggest considerations. Both jurisdictions have territorial tax systems. Hong Kong taxes profits sourced in Hong Kong at 8.25% on the first 2 million Hong Kong dollars and 16.5% above that. This can be very advantageous for e-commerce and SaaS businesses with international revenue. Singapore has a 17% headline rate, but offers generous startup tax exemptions in the first few years. For many tech and e-commerce founders with global customers, Hong Kong's territorial system, combined with the offshore tax exemption, can be more beneficial, provided you maintain proper substance and documentation. Banking and payments experience. Banking is one of the biggest practical differences, and one we covered in detail in our previous video. Opening a traditional business bank account in Hong Kong has become quite challenging for foreign-owned companies, especially non-residents. Many founders face extensive documentation, long processing times, and often the need to attend in-person interviews in Hong Kong. Singapore generally offers a smoother and faster experience for foreign founders when opening corporate bank accounts, although it has also become stricter in recent years. For e-commerce and fintech businesses that need reliable multi-currency accounts and international payment capabilities quickly, Singapore currently has a meaningful advantage. However, fintech solutions in both markets have narrowed this gap significantly. Ongoing compliance and costs. Ongoing compliance is another important factor. Hong Kong has relatively straightforward annual requirements: annual return, business registration renewal, bookkeeping, and audit, depending on company size. Overall compliance costs are generally moderate. Singapore has slightly more formal requirements, including annual filings, accounting records, and potentially audited accounts. Compliance costs tend to be a bit higher than in Hong Kong. For founders who want to keep administration lean, Hong Kong generally has a slight advantage in terms of ongoing compliance burden, market access, and ecosystem. Both cities have strong ecosystems, but they serve different strengths. Singapore has invested heavily in building a world-class tech and startup scene with strong government support. It excels in fintech, deep tech, and Southeast Asia enterprise sales. Hong Kong has a powerful position as a gateway to mainland China and the Greater Bay Area. It is particularly strong for e-commerce supply chains, cross-border trade, fintech, and businesses with China exposure. If your first serious market is Southeast Asia and you want strong regional headquarters positioning, Singapore often has the edge. If you have significant China or Greater Bay Area opportunities, or global revenue with Asia operations, Hong Kong tends to be more advantageous. Specific founder scenarios. Let me make this more concrete with real scenarios. If you're a remote SaaS founder with global customers and no plans to relocate immediately, Hong Kong is often the cleaner and simpler first structure. If you're building an e-commerce business with suppliers in China or the Greater Bay Area, Hong Kong usually makes more operational sense. If your senior team is based in Singapore and your first real market is Southeast Asia enterprise sales, Singapore is likely the better strategic choice. If you're a fintech or trading platform with international revenue and cross-border needs, Hong Kong often provides more flexibility. Clear decision framework. So, how should you decide? Choose Hong Kong if you are a non-resident founder, want simpler remote control, have China or Greater Bay Area exposure, sell globally through e-commerce or SaaS, or prefer slightly lower ongoing compliance costs. Choose Singapore if your leadership team is or will be based in Singapore, your first serious market is Southeast Asia, you need strong regional headquarters positioning, or your investors and enterprise customers expect a Singapore management presence. There's no universal winner. The right choice depends on where your customers, team, and revenue are actually based. How Captime can help. At Captime, we help founders set up and manage Hong Kong companies with full compliance support. If you have any questions about setting up a Hong Kong company or need support with incorporation and compliance, feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe for more practical content on Hong Kong company setup and regional business decisions. See you in the next video.